Hey, do we have any listener feedback?
Hey, we do have listener feedback. We only got one, but I do have a note from the management folks. Please, I'm asking you once again to sign your feedback, because if you don't, I don't know who you are.
Soccer star 69.
Yeah, there you go.
Whoever it was.
It was Soccer Girl.
Soccer girl. Yeah, you were doing yours.
Yeah.
Soccer star.
But we did get one interesting one that I thought the rest of them were kind of garbage.
What were the other ones?
Well, like the search engine optimization
okay.
offers and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay.
So this podcast NV just finished the episode The Entertainer, and something Eric said made me wonder if a lot of other bands do what Soho Down did as far as getting studio guns to put down tracks for the songs that they publish rather than the musicians playing themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're about to break this person's heart because, like,
It happens.
it happens
happens.
a lot.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Even your favorite bands don't always record their own parts in the studio.
There were some Ringo Starr parts that were played.
By a monkey?
No. But the guy who did the guy who does the Purdy Shuffle, I can't think of his name.
The Purdy Shuffle.
Bernard.
Yeah. Look at that.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Jesse's
Jumping
a
right
wealth
in.
of knowledge. I can already tell you
Yeah.
that.
And he plays on a lot of Steely Dan songs.
Yep.
Oh,
So
I've never heard of Steely Dan.
really?
Yeah.
They're this great band from the 70s. But yeah, apparently he has played some of Ringo Starr's parts on the Beatles. So, I mean, it goes back that far at least.
Yeah.
So,
But the vocals, that's all us.
Well, I was going to say the vocals are a little hard to fake. You know,
Yeah.
Milli Vanilli pulled it off, didn't they?
That's true. That's true. Now, they do have tools to make us sound a little better,
yeah,
but it is us that are singing.
that is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least us that we can say for Radio NV.
That's right.
This is Podcast NV.
We have another special guest on the pod today.
Nice.
He hails from Baltimore, Maryland. He's a guitarist and vocalist matched by few in the area. He has a unique sound that demands your attention. His debut EP, True Works of Fiction, is available now where you stream your music. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jesse Moody.
Thank you.
Wow.
Glad you could join us tonight.
Welcome
Thanks so
Jesse.
much.
Yeah.
Baltimore, Maryland.
Yes, sir.
You an Orioles fan?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. You can stay.
What about the Ravens?
Yeah, I'm a Ravens fan.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
Little disappointing this weekend, but
Were you born and raised in Maryland? Is that where you hail from?
yeah, born and raised Baltimore. Started in the city, then we moved out in the county. Not too long after that, so I grew up in Baltimore and kind of cut my teeth though, and down in Norfolk. That's where I went to school. So just kind of shout out to all my friends who are down here. That was like, such a formative time for me, like both, just as, coming of age and also for music as well. That's where I did, it's where I did my first paid show was down here in Virginia. So
Wow.
to be back.
So did you start with guitar, or was there another instrument that you got your fancy first?
I did. I started with guitar. I'm kind of the guitar hero age group. So that came out, and
Was that your first guitar?
I was actually. Yeah.
Okay.
It was that was my first guitar, but my dad, who was, it still is a musician. He's a drummer.
Nice.
He was like, "You want to see what real guitar is?" And he showed me the dual scene from Crossroads.
Oh, God.
With Ralph Macchio, and I was like, "Oh my God!" Now I really want to play guitar. So
Yeah.
that's what started it.
So how well does that translate from Guitar Hero guitar to regular guitar?
Nah, not at all.
Not even a little bit, I would imagine.
No.
And you know what's funny is that I've never actually played that game.
I haven't either.
I didn't play Rock Band either. I didn't do either one.
Uh-uh.
Yeah. So was that through college? That is that what you were saying? Being down in Norfolk, that's when you got your first paid gig playing guitar.
I played guitar, but I didn't really like show people. Like I would go to like as a kid, I would go to like band camp and, do some like after school stuff. But it wasn't until going down to Norfolk, which is where I started doing like open mics. It's when somebody, took notice. Shout out to Charles down in Norfolk. He took notice to me and he was like, "Hey, do you want to do a show here?" And I was like, "Wow, like this is
Nice.
wow, yeah,
That's awesome.
Things are happening."
So were you always a singer and a guitarist together, or did you start guitar first?
No, I had no intention of being a singer.
You're a fantastic singer as you are a guitar player.
Thank you. No, I had no intent. I just wanted to be Steve Vai. Like
Yeah.
I just wanted to be Eddie Van Halen / like there was this after school program that I was doing in high school, this little studio in Towson called Musicians Workshop. And that's kind of where I started like doing like the band sort of thing, like learning how to like play guitar like in a band and like collaborating with people. And so I just came into that with the intention of just being the lead guitar player. And then it's kind of a cliche story. Just one day the lead singer disappeared.
And you stepped up.
So me not knowing anything, I was like, I'll do it. Like, at first I didn't know what I was doing. I like didn't know how to project or anything, but I was kind of in it. So
It's kind of like juggling and being on a unicycle at the same time, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm playing guitar and singing and doing all like the rhythm stuff. Yeah, that can.
Because you have to focus on each to give them each their own spotlight,
Yeah, having to take your mind out of it and your brain's doing one thing and your hands and fingers are kind of on autopilot.
So I watched YouTube videos every day to really get the hang of it, to really get comfortable. What did you do to really, kind of kickstart and jumpstart your solo career?
That's a good question. As far as like YouTube, it wasn't until seeing like John Mayer that kind of broke me out of the whole like prog rock, like hard rock thing, and introduced me to it being like a singer-songwriter. And so that's when I started, dabbling in the whole like solo acoustic thing and learning how to do a little bit of everything on my own.
Okay. Yeah. Now, when did the originals start popping in your head, or did you always have that going?
The originals, I feel like there's two periods. It's when I was making originals, and then it's when I was making originals that I thought were good.
We're good originals.
Completely understand.
Yeah.
So I was always kind of, ever since I was a small kid, I was always writing, whether it was like poetry or like stories or whatnot. And like when I started playing guitar, the kind of songwriting, more or less started not too long afterwards. I would say, though, it wasn't until probably my second year at ODU, maybe second or first, so like 2015, 2016 is when I started actually making like complete songs with lyrics and bridges and stuff, where I was like, oh man, I could sell this thing.
I'm on to something. It's cold, Jerry.
Yeah.
So when you were learning to play the guitar, are you more of a like plays by ear or plays by charts and like music?
I play by ear. I started out reading music, but after I had like gone to school, gone to ODU, it was mainly just like playing by ear.
Have you ever found that like when you find a certain tone or a certain pedal that you use that reminds you of like, somebody like Steve Vai or something like that, does that unlock like learning how to play them better?
Yeah, especially with like when like compression is involved with some of these like drive pedals, it brings out like certain things. Like if it's like a certain drive where it's like it's kind of like martially and it's got that certain like compression factor to it, then yeah, like it brings out, oh, this is like, it kind of subconsciously brings out like the Steve Vai or like Eddie Van Halen stuff.
Yeah.
And if I have something that is more gritty, kind of like an old like Tweed amp, like then that brings out more of Greg Allman, Derek Trucks type of thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I find that with drum sets too. Like when I sit down on a drum set that I've never played before, and it's like well tuned, and then, you know, I can sit there and like, oh wow, that kind of sounds like, you know,
and then you get into it.
yeah, and it kind of unlocks like a
core memory.
Yeah, a core memory, and it kind of like a little bit of you know, nastiness, like a little bit of, oh, I can do this, I can, you know, so I relate to that hard.
Yeah, ever since I started writing songs that I thought were good enough for me to perform, I think that kind of started the journey in guitar, you know, kind of like tone shaping, because, you know, I was like, what do I sound like? Because at the time when I was doing it, I had a John Mayer pedal board, and I just had the thought.
John Mayer guitar.
Yeah, the John Mayer guitar.
John Mayer shirt.
And
and the long pants. Picturing yourself on the big Afghan carpet on stage.
Yeah, it's like, you know, I had that, and I just thought to myself, I think it's both a good and a bad thing that I often think like many steps ahead. But I thought to myself, I'm like, someone's going to look down and just be like, this guy has John Mayer's pedal board.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe I should go off and, you know, try to figure out what I sound like.
Or maybe just reorganize it so it doesn't look exactly like John Mayer's.
No,
pedal
I put the clone right there. You see?
See, it's my board. It's different.
You know, that's funny. I had not considered that aspect of songwriting as, you know, finding out what your sound is.
I still don't know what my sound is.
Really?
That's why every song I write sounds completely different from the other one. I don't know why. That is what it is. Some people already have it. Like Bruno Mars. If you look at some of the early footage of Bruno Mars, like you could tell he was always going to be a pop star. Like that was going to be his vibe. It didn't matter, you know, who he paired with. It was always going to be something pop and whatever. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm just spending money frivolously.
That's interesting. Yeah, but you're getting your art out there, man.
I'm trying. Yeah. Do you have a job other than playing music?
Yeah. So I went to school for physics, actually. So I've been like starting out after graduating. I got a job helping run the planetarium at the Maryland Science Center. So I did a little bit of teaching.
That's awesome.
Like teaching the kids to be interested in astronomy and physics to varying degrees of success.
And when they leave, do you get high and just turn on the thing?
Right?
Put the recliner back.
What are you doing in there? I'm accelerating electrons. Leave me alone.
That's awesome.
It's like I'm terraforming. Yeah. I'm changing the atmosphere in this room.
I'm testing out the new particle detector.
So is that a full-time gig? Or?
So that was my first job out of school, and then I after a while, COVID was weird, just like because I always wanted to do like more of like the government sector things. So for a couple of years, I was a researcher at the Army Research Lab in Maryland, up in Aberdeen, Harford County. So I did that. I think you know, work-life balance is an important thing, and you know, now I'm learning to like pay attention to what's going on. But that didn't work out. So I've been, you know, kind of in a serendipitous way, I've focused on music, but also like doing like the guitar repair stuff as well. And just, I think it's kind of allowed me in this space to like kind of recenter and like focus on what I'm actually passionate about. So in the case, it was like engineering. That job I was at, it's a little bit different from physics.
Yeah,
sure. Did COVID kind of affect that career trajectory?
I mean, COVID messed up a lot of things.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Sure did.
But no, I would say I always say like I'm a part-time musician, full-time nerd. So I've always been interested in like the sciences, like physics. So I'm like working on getting back into that field. Mainly defense. I didn't plan on being a musician.
Yeah.
I wanted to join the Navy.
Okay.
So that was my plan after school, and the bug's still very much biting me. But
Norfolk is a popular area for
yeah,
the Navy.
well, my first choice was the Naval Academy, and ODU was what came in second. It was slim pickings for the academy at the time, especially with like in my district. So I ended up going to ODU, and that was fantastic because it allowed me to like engage with everything, like the Navy stuff, science, music. But it was funny. There was a guy at a music store in Virginia Beach called Alpha Music. His name's Ryan, and he's former Navy. And I would come in all the time, even though I couldn't afford anything. He was like, "What are you planning on doing?" That sort of thing. And I was like, "Oh, I'm planning on joining the Navy." And he looked at me like I had three heads. He was like, "Why?" And I was like, no one's ever asked me that question before.
This is the Billy Madison. Stay here, as long as you can.
But with how things are going in music now, I often think about that. A lot of my friends are in the Navy now. Shout out to my man Donovan, and Ben Tequili's like he's those are both like I have a lot of friends who are underway right now, and some of them, shout out to Will too, they kind of pushed me in the direction of kind of going towards music. So
Nice.
In that way, I'm kind of learning in this year. Certain things fall in place that you weren't expecting. So
And maybe you're right where you're supposed to be, kind of thing.
maybe
Yeah.
I'd like to at least move back to Virginia, though.
Yeah.
Bacon has an
do
extra
miss it.
room.
It's next to the padded one.
It's unplugged.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a callback.
All right, so take us through True Works of Fiction. Where did it come from? Tell us a little bit more about, the songs, the ideas, the inspirations, all of that.
Yeah, so True Works of Fiction was kind of like the first foray into like actually getting my ideas out there, like stuff that I had recorded like all throughout undergrad, all the songs that I had come up with, like the different ideas. And it was kind of taking like a bunch of like different experiences that I'd had, going through my first time like being like out of state and like away from everything that was familiar, and like stuff with what I want to do in the future and like relationships and that sort of thing, and like turning that into like different songs. So I came up with the name like True Works of Fiction. It's based on reality, but it's kind of like I always have like a certain like narrative to like whatever project that I come up with.
Very cool.
Do you find that when you write that is it kind of like you might be writing something that stems from something true, but you also are trying to tell a story?
Right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's stemming from like real experiences and real like feelings, but I always have it in my mind of like making a song that like is, for lack of a better term, like generalized so that multiple people can kind of relate to it, and like not have things like very specific.
Right.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's hard. You might want to relay something very specific, but then you've kind of, in your own mind, because you never really know what people are going to latch onto, but in your own mind, you've kind of limited your audience maybe.
Yeah, I always try to do things that are like palatable in like things that people can feel either like musically or like lyrically. And I think that's just because of hearing the songs that I grew up with, and like, you know, they all seemed like true works of fiction to me.
Right.
Like, sure, they stemmed from real experiences that these artists had, you know, in their past, but they kind of like distilled them into like pieces that were, you know, relatable to like a lot of people.
And what's kind of been the reaction, whether you play it live or you play it for your friends or family? Like, what's kind of been the feedback or reaction to?
It's been very good. The one off of the album that I've been very surprised with has been Circles. That was one, I wrote that song as I was recording the EP. That was one of the only songs that I wrote on the fly. Yeah.
So I think when we were doing the Red Media Artist Sessions at Skidoo's, every time I was promoting you when you were coming up to perform, you know, the days and weeks that went by, I consistently use this one because it has kind of a long intro and it's just got such a good beat to it. I love it. It's good.
Yeah. I've been so surprised. Just like,
It's good. It's very happy. At least like it sounds happy.
Yeah. And that's you clapping, right?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You hear it here, folks?
Breaking news.
But we recorded, what was it, Apple Pie?
No.
Was it
Before
apple
that,
pie or
no? It was maybe.
was it?
I think it was.
But anyway, so we put in our own claps and stuff. So.
Yeah.
Well, sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
did that for Apple Pie too.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
no, I immediately thought of our original home studio recording stuff.
Oh, yeah.
When we were just trying to get a demo together.
With
And-
the PVC pipes and we...
Well, one of the songs, so one of the rooms that I had in the townhome that I was living in after I'd moved out of the house I was previously living in, had big hardwood floors and tall ceilings. And so I sat there with like Timberland boots and put a microphone on the floor, and that's how we did the stomps. And then we did another thing for the claps.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep, I
And
remember.
That, it just made me think of that.
Meanwhile, I was at home twiddling my thumbs.
Stop it.
And Bacon's like, are they coming over or not? We're busy, Bacon. Now, where did you record?
I recorded at a local producer. Actually, at the time, it was the manager of the guitar shop I was working at, Chelsea Tyler. She had a studio called Siren Sound, and that's where I recorded with her and another great producer by the name of Brian Zapp. And
All great people are named Brian, just to
This is true.
throw that out there, yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, that's where we. That's where,
He's like, I'm not saying
He's like, can
anything.
I please finish?
Yeah.
that's all the like different like claps and like there's like a little like applause at the end of it. That's all of us.
Nice.
Like kind of get that sort of like ambiance to it. Like it was like a live, like it was like a live recording.
Did you already have the concept of how you wanted the song to go before you walked in there, or was it a collaboration kind of thing?
I kind of had the idea of it, like all the arrangements I kind of had in my head. I kind of had the idea for it being like a more like stripped down thing as opposed to the other songs in that EP. And I guess I was not expecting the song from like sharing the music with a bunch of people. Like I was not expecting that song to be like the one that people gravitated towards too, because I feel like it's the one that's not as clubby. You know, I'm like, oh man, this pop tune, like the first track, Runaway, is kind of the flagship song that I had in mind for it. And, you know, everybody's like, oh man, I love Circles. And then, you know, kind of looking at the lyrics.
Yeah, this is another great one. Is it funny to after you put something out, like get a sense of what people do gravitate towards? Because it's typically not what you think.
Yeah, and it's I'm always surprised. Like everybody keeps saying like, oh man, Circles is so good. And I think
You're like, there's other songs on this.
I'm like, yeah. At first I was like, did you hear Runaway?
Yeah.
I'm like, Will's Jam is pretty good. Shout out to Will. It's called Will's Jam because I came up with the idea in his dorm.
Yeah.
When I was in school, so I didn't have any other title for it. I was just like, I just put it in my like voice notes as Will's Jam. So,
That's awesome. Sometimes you just pick the easiest thing, and it just makes sense.
What does Will think of Will's Jam?
Oh man, when I told him, he was pretty like, he was pretty surprised that I was like, hey, I'm putting out a track, and one of them's named after you. You know, it's
He was like, oh God, what is it?
yeah. I mean, shout out to my dude Will. He's actually a guardsman in the Virginia National Guard. And yeah, he was one of the people that, you know, was with me from the beginning at ODU, and like a lot of song ideas. Like he came to like my first shows.
Was he the Billy Madison that told you to stay where you are? Keep doing your thing.
He was one of them. All of them, like all of them, just like kind of supported me, and like all the music stuff, like from like, you know, playing at the little barbecue joints in Norfolk, like just like doing all these like 4-hour shows with like nobody there, but like they would always show up,
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so that was, yeah.
Well, you have an obvious natural talent for it, but you also have like a passion. You know, it's not something that you're just kind of, you know, just doing because you can. Like you enjoyed, you know, you enjoy playing music. It comes off.
It was, I've always been, that was the first thing I was surrounded by, was just music all the time, just from my dad. So yeah, just, it's always been a constant in my life, to the point where it's like, I'm like, I always like, I need to get a new hobby. and everybody's always like, well, what about music? You don't do music all the time. And I'm like, it's such a constant that it's almost like breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, so it's not like a special thing, so to speak. Like, it's always just been there from the jump.
Right. All right. You ready to do it?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
It's this or that.
This or that. I love these.
This or that.
All right. So there aren't a tremendous amount of these, but I think they're pretty good. I think they're pretty good. The first few I initially put together that are focused on music. And then after hearing about some of your influences and some of the styles and the space in which you kind of operate,
Yeah.
I don't know if they're the best ones to ask, but I still want to ask. Speaking of guitar, Stevie Ray Vaughan or Jimi Hendrix, because those are typically the two pitted against each other, right?
Yeah.
Historically.
Yeah. Be Jimi Hendrix for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the upside down left hand?
That's the upset. I think that was like one of the early. I didn't discover Stevie Ray Vaughan until later. So Hendrix was like one of the early influences as far as guitar for me, along with like Eddie Van Halen and Steve Vai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Hendrix for sure.
Yeah. All right. I've got two sets of other artists here, and they are pianists. And now, knowing that your father was a drummer, I was like, damn it, I should have prepared drummer questions. But one set is a little bit older, kind of 80s, and then one is a little bit newer, maybe late 90s, early 2000s,
Okay.
whatever. So the first, Billy Joel or Elton John?
Elton John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, that was really formative. Like my aunt would play all his music in the car when I was like on my way to school, like all like Benny and the Jets, Rocket Man, all like that was
They're just
Crocodile
good.
Rock.
So good.
Yeah. And to, Billy Joel too. That he's got some phenomenal songs as well. But yeah, if it's like some of that stuff, like I mentioned Luther Vandross earlier. Like I mean, I don't think if it wasn't for my parents or hearing some music in the house or around that space, I don't know if I would know some of these artists. You know, not at least not by name. So the other more modern, John Batiste or John Legend.
Ooh, that's a toughie right there.
It's tough.
Man.
I'm gonna say John Legend.
Yeah.
Like just because again, like same thing. Like that first album was on like all the time, and that was a formative. That was definitely a formative one. Like hearing Ordinary People and like Used to Love You, like those early songs, like those definitely like kind of fed the music drive.
Yeah. All right. Some of these are kind of more. I mean, I guess they're all personal questions, but they're less related to music. Would you rather? I guess this or that. Here we go. Sit in gridlock traffic for 30 minutes, or move on the highway at 15 miles an hour for an hour.
Wow.
Is it the same?
Was
it the same?
Was there a time on the first one?
Yeah, 30 minutes in gridlock, like you're really not going anywhere. Or you're moving, but at the pace of 50 miles an hour for an hour.
I think they're different. I've been in gridlock where I've sat for 3 hours and didn't move.
Yeah. But the question's to
sorry,
Jesse.
my bad.
Yeah, sorry.
Jesse, go ahead.
Oh man, I'm like super fidgety. Like I'm like a dog. I can't sit in one place for like a long period of time. So I'd have to say the 15 miles an hour.
Yeah, at least you're moving.
Yeah, at least I'm moving and not having to like pay attention. It's like, oh no, we're stopping again. Like yeah.
Okay, I think I fit in that space too. What about you, Tim? You're looking real
I gotta
fidgety
move
over there.
I gotta move. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a mover too.
Would you rather stub your toe really hard or bite the crap out of your tongue?
Terrible options.
Oh.
I told you this is a pretty good this or that.
Yeah. Well, oh man, stubbing the toe is like
Brutal.
yeah. And then biting the tongue, like oh man, oh.
But have you bitten your tongue to the point where it's lasted for days?
No.
Really?
No. So I guess I'll take biting your tongue because I don't know, like I've stubbed my toe like pretty bad and like I'm like walking weird. I'm like shit. Did I break this?
I need to get this looked at.
I've certainly done that. My whole entire toe was purple.
I just did that last week. I
Stubbed
stubbed
your
my
toe.
toe.
Yeah.
Oh my! And it was the big toe.
Do you wish you had bitten your tongue?
I wish I bit my tongue. It hurt so freaking bad.
I'll tell you, I don't even know how it happened. It happened so fast. I bit my tongue so hard one time at dinner at a restaurant, no less, that there was a hole in the side of my tongue. Like I punctured a hole in the side of my tongue that there was blood just pouring out of my mouth. It was fucking disgusting.
Can't even edit this.
Courtney was there. No, you cannot. No, I cannot.
Sorry, listeners.
All right. So this is a question of, I guess, kind of where certain fears, come into play.
Yep.
Would you rather free climb a cliffside or free dive in the ocean in like a deep pocket?
Oh man.
Can you handle the heights or can you handle holding your breath?
I'll take diving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever see that
I'm
video of the guy that just kind of goes off the deep cliff inside the water? He's already in the water, but then
blue
it's
hole.
like black, and he just like disappears.
Man. Because I'm like, at least you have a chance in the water. Like as opposed like if you mess up with free climbing, like that's kind of it.
True. Yeah, that's true.
But then you go deep dive, and then you're like, oh shit, that's further than I thought it was.
Yeah.
How am I going to get up there?
maybe a friendly porpoise or dolphin.
Yeah. Maybe Echo will come along or Flipper. Timmy, what about you? You were shaking your head.
Neither.
I knew it.
That doesn't. None of that sounds fun.
No, but people do it for the thrill.
Oh, sure.
You
Yeah.
see these people doing so. Like I've seen videos of people doing the free climbing on the cliff sides without gear. Yeah. And some of them are, like really taking their time, trying to make sure that they position their feet and they wedge their hands in these spaces and whatever to get that leverage. And then you see the other guys that go up there and they're just like, and they do it in like record time. Like, you could have died.
Yeah.
And that's a tall cliffside.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Becken?
I have such a problem with heights.
I do too.
Like,
I hate both.
It's stupid how I'm not mentally afraid of heights, but my body, it seems like, is afraid of heights. You know what I mean? Like
I understand.
And it's to a point where
There's no way to psych yourself in.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
You're always out.
I've watched like reels or Instagram reels or TikTok reels on my phone, and like is a person, and it's a person's perspective of them looking over the city from the top of a building, and I recoil. I'm like, I'm gonna fall.
Like the dudes that do the free climbing, like in Russia on the buildings, and they have like the GoPros on their heads. No.
That's a hard
Palms
pass.
are sweaty.
Yeah.
I know, just thinking about it. It sucks.
Yeah. So I would have to do the ocean.
You do the free dive in the ocean.
Yeah.
Brave man. And they, you know what? To be less fair, they typically, when you do the free dives, they have the cable, with the air balloon or whatever, and you just grab it and it takes you all the way back up.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, sleeping, absolute silence or white noise.
I have a recent find of mine has been the benefits of white noise, because just to drown it, like living by like a busy road or something, like the white noises, I'll take that.
Have you ever tried brown noise? Shit, I know that sounds terrible, but there is.
Oh my God.
There's brown noise and there's green noise.
I've heard. Yeah, okay.
And green noise, especially, it's good for people that have like intrusive ADHD thoughts.
Really?
Yeah. So I have an app on my phone that I have a mixture of green and brown noise.
Can
that
you
I play.
play us an example of green noise?
Yeah, I probably could.
Okay, because this sounds made up to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like somebody sold you something.
No.
Is there red noise and orange noise and pink noise?
Tell me, what
and
wavelength
purple
are you on?
noise?
I'm on blue.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure you are. How much you pay for that? $69.99.
You got the discount.
Yeah. Well, it broke and I had to get another one. Sure it did.
I have to connect to the mixer. Hang on.
Yeah, I'll give you a little backstory in that question. I used to fare quite well in absolute silence, and then I met my wife, and she needs the
My
white
wife?
noise. My wife.
She's a snorer.
So now, oh my God. Oh, so sometimes I'll give her crap about the noise, because she'll have the white noise, and there's different levels of the intensity, but then she'll also turn on. She's got a humidifier, and then she has something else.
Does she put in a retainer too?
Yes, yes, the Invisalign or whatever. And I'm like, just for you, honey.
Yeah. The sacrifices we make.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Or that they make. Who knows?
This is green noise.
I think so.
This sounds like white noise.
That's nice.
Sounds like a fuzzy ocean.
Okay.
All right, give us brown noise.
Oh, this is actually the mixture. I'm sorry.
Oh, so
It sounds like a mixture.
So this is just green.
Oh,
okay.
That's nice.
so it is different frequencies.
And this is brown.
Can you, if you turn down the intensity, I think I like the brown noise better. Yeah,
Tim's asleep.
that's actually
Actually, I like the brown noise.
yeah.
It kind of reminds me of like ocean.
Yeah, that's
it's a
exactly
little
what I
oceany.
was saying.
I like
Yes,
that.
I love
And
that.
and the
Keep
combo.
going. What else we got?
Yeah,
Give
do
us
you have-
more colors
there's
while we're at it.
orange
Do you have
noise.
red noise?
Hold on. Hold on. We got orange.
This is orange.
I'm on a plane.
Yes.
That's a plane, yeah.
There's also pink noise.
Okay. It's a heavy thunderstorm.
Yeah, for sure.
Thunderstorm.
Oh, okay.
Could be
So
Fort,
I like
Fort
pink.
Lauderdale.
Did I play blue?
I like pink
No.
and brown.
Here's blue. You like pink and brown, Tim?
Noise.
No.
Noise.
That's another rainstorm for me. Just different.
No, that sounds like bugs.
It's like a mister.
Yeah.
Oh, a
Yeah.
sprinkler.
Which,
Yeah.
Mr. Who? Mr.
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 Emotions,
Bombastic.
Mr. Moody.
Just for reference. This is white noise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's intense.
Yeah, that's a lot, isn't it? That's why I think green is better.
You keep pulling that fader down. That's not helping.
I know that's the wrong one.
It's all good.
Like a nice mixture.
We learned
of
so
green and
much
brown.
today.
Wait, what's this one again?
This is a mixture of green and brown, right?
No,
here.
the one that you started with,
Oh, that was green.
just green. You know what I think green is? Now that I've had a chance to listen to it, it sounds like a stadium of
Yeah.
sports fans.
Yeah, they're cheering your name, Brian.
Yeah. Actually, they're cheering Jesse and his band.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Those guys are awesome. Where are you guys playing in Northern Virginia anytime soon?
No, we're still trying to work our way down here.
Okay.
But as soon as the opportunity presents itself, we're prepped and ready to play.
Ready
anywhere.
to deploy. All right. Let's see. Are you a text message or a voice message kind of guy? Do you need to, like, if you see a 52-second voice message come up, are you going to listen to it, or are you just going to call them? And if you get a long text message, are you going to read it, or are you just going to call them?
Yeah, if it's past like a paragraph or something, I'm just gonna call you. Like I'm just like, I don't know. You could have. I'm more of like a call person,
Yeah.
which is, I guess, a little uncharacteristic of my age group. but yeah, if it's like, if you have something to say and it's over like, if it's over 2 paragraphs, just call me.
Don't write me a novel.
Yeah, because I've had that happen, and it's like, they're like, I just called somebody instead, and they were like, "Hey, did you get my message?" I was like, "No, that's why I'm calling you."
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I didn't even read it.
No. I've been there. All right. And the last one that I have, this is a redemption from last week when we interviewed Chris, because I was told I asked a stupid question.
Really?
I'm paraphrasing.
I don't remember.
But this is my redemption question. Instead of onion rings, French fries or tater tots?
Oh man, tater tots are great. French fries, they're not created equal, and it's
That's
like,
true.
That's right.
There, see, you know what? The thought plickens and F me.
But I feel like
It's not your fault.
But
it's
I
it's
feel
something
like-
I have to deal with.
so if we're going, like, obviously, like, French fries aren't all created equal, but I feel like tater tots is like a pretty solid foundation for something. If you wanted to, like, I don't know,
I love the analysis.
do like some concoction, like some loaded tater tots or something like that,
Or some chili tater tots.
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Chili cheese.
Chili fries, waffle fries, seasoned fries. So we used to play Your Eyes by Peter Gabriel. And at the end of the song, because, kind of there's a moment at the end where it drags on, and we used to say, different types of fries.
McDonald's fries.
Yeah.
And then Brian will be like, waffle fries.
That was our intro to capturing the attention of our audience. Yeah.
That was before the kazoo.
Yeah.
All right, Jesse,
great.
anything you want to plug?
Yeah, I have 2. This is the first time I'm mentioning this, but I have 2 new singles that I'm going to be releasing. I'm going to be releasing my first take on In Too Deep, and also another single called Love for a Minute, hopefully in preparation for a second EP project that will probably be, I'd be on the lookout for that sometime in middle of 2025.
Very
Nice.
cool.
That's
All
very
right. And is there a place where people can look up your schedule, either on Facebook, Instagram, or do you have a website?
Absolutely, all of those. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Jesse Moody IV. That's Jesse Moody IV. And I also have a website, www.moodyiv.com.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Hell yeah. Well,
Well,
cheers to that, dude.
yeah.
It was so awesome to have you out tonight.
Yes.
Thanks for making the trek and for enjoying this tasty tequila with us.
Yeah, man.
Thanks, everybody.
It's been great. Thanks a lot.
This podcast was produced and engineered by Michael Bacon from Bacon Wave Productions in cooperation with Revelry Media Productions. Video was provided by Brian Johnson. Please like and subscribe to stay up to date on our latest episodes. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at PodcastRNV and on TikTok at podcast.nv. Send us your thoughts over email at feedback@podcastnv.com. And we're back, episode 297 of Podcast Envy.
I feel like you're mocking me.
Boy, Jesse's been here a while. That's a lot of episodes.
Are you mocking me?
Jesse's got a beard.
Guys, can I go home, please?
Can I get out of here?
What day is it?
It's been 75 years.
The windows are all shuttered in.
I'm in a padded room.
They won't let me leave unless I play Neon one more time.
Yeah.